Hey, welcome to GreenMiner. We're here with the owner, and looks like Maddie Ice and Paul are listening in here. Let's see who else is. Okay, yeah, and this is the 81 terahash a second Pro. This is the Canaan Avalon 1166. Also, hey, surprise, surprise! If you're in the chat, you've seen the second Canaan Avalon 87 terahash S Pro miner showed up today. It surprised the heck out of me because I hadn't ordered from them personally before, and went to their shop site, and then I counter-referenced, and they were actually sending people there from their main website. But like I was saying in the chat, I've been in DeFi for a while. Like a lot of the guys, look, Jason B just showed up in the chat too. We've been in DeFi for a while, and there are so many scams when it comes to cryptocurrency and all the products that are included with it, because it's such a disruptive technology that there's so much money to be made that it's just crazy out there. And when I was on the website and I was checking out their Twitter and everything like that, it was just not really giving me a green flag. I felt very reluctant, especially after I already went to a website that had PayPal payments, and I paid with my PayPal, and I didn't get like a follow-up email. I didn't get any tracking or anything like that. And really weird thing happened on my PayPal where like a claim was filed and then it was closed. And I talked to PayPal and they were like, only you can do that. Nobody can do that. Making it really weird for me. I'm like, look, no one has my information. I didn't do it. I didn't. So honestly, to tell you the truth, that whole scenario there feels like an internal thing, and it's just very strange. So to see the miners show up from the Canaan shop, their website, it's amazing, because you really don't know until you actually have your hands on the item. And Kyle knows exactly what I'm talking about. When he picked up his ant miners, it was like, hey, I'm gonna go meet this guy, and he's got a couple, and we're gonna see, if it's legit or what. And Kyle can probably share his story about that as well.
Yeah, so I'm actually on a couple Facebook groups for miners, whether they're just information side and also buying and selling groups. And this guy was on there, and he was selling a bunch of these Antminer L3s, and it seemed legit. I mean, it was a real Facebook profile. It had real people. You could look it up and check friends out to make sure that it's just not a bunch of bot pages. He gave me his address. It was just north of Cincinnati, Ohio, which is about 3 hours from me. So we drove up and met the guy and at his house, and got the miner. It's still kind of running on 3 out of the 4 hash boards. I haven't really dove into it too much. It's running good. We did get the second one off eBay, and that one's running flawlessly. So I kind of haven't really felt like messing with the other one at this point. It did get a computer power supply, because one thing I had been reading is those Bitmain power supplies can be a little finicky. So we're just going to switch that one completely out for a 1,000-watt EVGA, a good high quality one. So we'll kind of see what happens with that. But other than that, those two are pretty much good to go. I got them shut off right now. I usually give them 5 or 6 days in a row and then just kind of let them chill out for a day. They are older hardware, so I don't want to burn them up. But those are running good. We're getting a payout about every other day on average, which is going to look pretty pathetic compared to one of those Avalon miners, let alone 2. So that's going to ramp things up a lot. Probably when I decide to go bigger here, I'll just skip these L3s and go to something larger scale. I'm not sure which one yet, but overall things are looking pretty good on the mining side, and they're looking to be really bright soon when those 2 boxes get opened up and put online.
Yeah. I'm really close to getting things wired up. I'm just like the rest of y'all. I have a full-time job. I have family. Trying to balance everything out and take the little bits of time that we have in between sleep and work and our schedule to get this thing rolling. I have the 8-AUG cable already ran from the panel in the garage through the wall, above the garage, down the wall on the other side, because I didn't want to do any of this stuff half-assed. I didn't want to just have a bunch of wires hanging out, this, that, and other thing, and just jump right into the mix. I envisioned what I wanted to do. I laid it out, and then I like to do things so it's a finished product the first time. If I have any hiccups, then I deal with that. Then I want to just do it all fully. So I have that ADOG down through the bottom plate in the wall. It's down into underneath the dwelling. It's nice and cool under the house. So we'll have these guys down there. I have the if you haven't been in the chat before, or been to the YouTube yet, I'm going to be loading some videos up because we're just starting to ramp this thing up. That will show my progression as time has gone on, as well as Kyle's first introduction video. It's already on the YouTube, so you should go check it out. I believe it's in the Telegram. Yeah, I'm going to have a Wi-Fi timer that I can look at my phone, because I'm trying to run these specifically off solar, so it doesn't cost me any money. That's why I got so excited about it. It just really lined up. I've been working with Jason and Kyle, and Maddie's saying that he's. I was going to go back to the other project that we were in and search your name and see how far back and see if I could find you and stuff, because time in crypto is like forever in that project and everything like that. Plus, I just forget everything. But I'm just so glad you're here, Maddie. I'm glad you stuck around since pre-sale and followed a couple of these guys over here and just stayed in it, because now we're able to really get things ramped up and get it going. And yeah, because when I seen that there was 10,000 kilowatts on a nice sunny day coming through my system, and it was going back to the grid, and the power company was getting it, and then they're reselling it for top dollar, and they're just giving me peanuts for it. I was like, yo, I can have some miners sucking that power up. And then, here we are. We were already in the process of, taking GreenMiner for a ride. And now that we've got it, it just, here we are now. Here we are. We're going to have, 160 plus terahash running, some about 10 a.m. to about 5 p.m. on these sunny days, and it's really cool with my system. I have an app on my phone, so I can see exactly when those times are. So there's any sketchy funny weather business, because I'm not in Nevada or Brazil or in the Middle East, so it's like I'm not getting sun all the time. So it's going to be interesting to catch those windows, but when those windows come on, these boys will be running, and we're going to have the berms. I got something here on my phone's trying to do something here. Okay, yeah, so again, I'm just really excited that everybody's here and we're along for the ride, and it's so early, guys. I mean, it was like 26K market cap just the other day, and the way that the tokenomics are set up on this thing, it's just going to be a rocket ship. I mean, we're already at I think 36,000 on the market cap, and we've only had just a few buys, and you just see like those green candles start to really form. And what we're seeing now is a price coming back from a pre-sale from the previous owner that I'm not sure what, life happens. I can't even begin to speculate, but he was going to be putting his system together. He was waiting on an electrician. He was in Sweden, and one thing led to another, and he wasn't able to continue the project any further. And that's where Kyle stepped up. We want to thank Kyle so much for wanting to take this thing on and, inspire me to follow in his footsteps and help out. So yeah, here we are. We got the two Canaan Avalons. Like I said before, one's the 1166 Pro miner, and then the other one is the 1246. It's going to have 6 more terahash. And I was looking at the chart, I was like, what's the difference between megahash, terahash, or whatever? And it's like, terahash is like, I have to look at the chart because, like I said, my memory isn't very good. But it's like, what is that, Kyle? What is a terahash?
Well, so the easiest way to describe it, so the miners that we have in my house are running about 500 megahash. So 1 gigahash is in between the mega and the tera. So 1,000 megahash would be 1 gigahash. So a terahash would be 1 million the mega hash. So you're basically getting, I mean, a massive amount of production out of those compared to what I have, which is why it's just going to fly. So, I mean, if you think of like megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, as far as hard drives, that's kind of just translate that over to hashing. So, 25, 30 years ago, we measured some of our stuff in megabytes and thought that was great. And then we got the gigabytes, and, I have a 1 terabyte SSD drive on my miner and got it for cheap. So it's just a progression of the strength of the machines. So those things are, you said 81, is that what you said? 81 terahash. So, I mean,
yeah, we got an 81 and an 87.
Yeah, it's like, just throwing numbers out, like 3,000 times more powerful than what I have. So it's definitely gonna kick it. But that's, that's where we'll end up having to go. I mean, the ones that I have can't sustain, large burns, as we were talking about with the price of the token. If people aren't super familiar with market cap and liquidity, typically large investors want to see liquidity to be 10% of the market cap. So if you have $100,000 market cap, they want to see 10,000 in liquidity. So we have twice as much in liquidity as market cap. So that provides a lot of confidence for people investing large amounts of money. They know they can take it out because, I mean, let's be honest, when people come in with big amounts of money, they want to take bigger amounts out. So when they see our ratio there, they're going to feel a little more confident in buying in.
Yeah, and Kyle had me looking at the tokenomics and refreshing myself. I was around when the old owner was getting on board and helping him with the partnership with Zodiac Global DeFi Bank, and after looking at it again, I start to get a little excited because not only are the miners going to be burning the supply with the crypto that's converted to BNB and then buying the gem and burning it, but then also the 10% of every transaction does the same as well. Just a couple points of that 10% is going to be going to miner upkeep. So you're going to see around like 8% or so. We're going to sit down with the dev and make sure that everything is 100% so that, Kyle's hearing it from him, strapping my fingers, and, not just from me, and going back and looking at messages and stuff. So everything is just clear and, we have all that. So I was definitely getting excited because I was thinking, oh, wow, not only are we mining and buying gem and burning the supply, and then boom, I see the supply and forgot like how much the supply was. There's only a little over 200,000 tokens, guys. You think about like those tokens being burned, like the supply is going to shrink and the price is going to just increase. And it's like, if we can keep this thing going and stay true to the plan and have these miners running as much as we can when the sun is out, or what have you, because like we have a poll up right now for just total solar, or if we have the miners on during some times where they might pull from the grid a little bit. We want to see what the community has to say, and I think right now it's like a little over 60% are like, yeah, that's fine if you pull a little bit from the grid or whatever. Like, we get it. It's difficult to get just solar sometimes when you have a system that's on the grid because the fluctuations go back and forth past the meter. So, we appreciate everybody's support, and we look forward to you participating. And you don't have to have a terahash unit. You don't have to have a mega hash unit. You can have a GPU miner. It doesn't matter. The little computer that you have running that you're like downloading movies on or whatever, that's in your computer room or whatever, your closet, your man cave, whatever, you can come to the chat. We can help you out, set it up so you're mining too and helping the burn process. And it's just fun. Like, you guys, I can't explain like how much fun I'm having in this process of like getting, the electrical ran and like digging into my wall and going underneath the dwelling, and like the process of getting these miners alone, like it was a roller coaster ride. Like, oh my gosh, am I getting ripped off? Am I not getting ripped off? I mean, I thought for sure that like 2 of my purchases from these miners were going to be like a bust deal. Maybe one of them I was going to get, my money back from my bank, because one of them was a wire transfer, and like a wire transfer is like sending crypto, man. Once you send it, the other person has it, and not in your wallet, it ain't your crypto, you know. So really excited to walk by the front door and see this thing sitting out front. Does anybody have any questions for Kyle before I open these boxes?
And I'll kind of elaborate too on that poll and some things we need to think about as well. I'll just kind of open it up and see if anyone says anything first.
I don't think I put permissions on for anybody to not be able to. Yeah, everybody can unmute themselves if they want, and that's fine too.
Okay. Well, I'll just go ahead and elaborate too. Here in the U.S., solar restrictions and guidelines vary by different state. So my state has what's called net metering. So if you remember cell phone plans from the 90s where people had rollover minutes, that's kind of how it works where I'm at. So I don't technically sell mine back to my power company. So when I don't have the miners on and I'm getting a good run of sun, I'll bring in about 70 kilowatts for the day. And I only use maybe 10 or 15. So I push that, 50, 55 back out to the grid. Instead of them paying me on my next power bill, I actually get a credit. So for me, in my situation, I might technically pull from the grid running the miners at sometimes, but I'm still, we're net positive on that, meaning we still have these credits banked. And even with these two running full speed, I'm still putting back out to the grid. I'm still underneath my threshold that I want to be, powering my house, not having any issues. I have battery backup on my house, so even when the sun's out, I'm pulling off my battery first. It's the way my system is set up. So, that was kind of what I was getting at with that poll. Now, I don't know what your state laws are. That's, you know your system and your area better than me. But for me, I'm so far ahead, I probably won't technically pull from the grid until wintertime, and that's with running these full time. So, and maybe not even. I am going to look into expanding my system as we go a little farther out, a larger battery, maybe some more panels. I got room for maybe 10 to 12 more on my garage. As long as we're running and flying and everything, I don't care to do that. But, that's kind of why I put that poll up, because I wanted to see what people thought of as if I'm banking extra, depositing extra in my account, so to speak, in the summer, I may actually pull from the grid, but in reality, I'm using these solar credits. So if I put 100 a day in here and I pull 1 or 2 a day in the winter, we're still way ahead of the game on being green. So that's kind of what I wanted to get the community's thought on that. I don't have an issue with running it all the time and running off of my credits. I feel like it's still green, but if everyone here is like, no, we want this to be strictly off solar, and when you get to that point that you're not pulling it, that's fine. We can shut them down. I just kind of wanted to know what the community thought on that.
Yeah, so far it's looking pretty good. Everybody is, more towards the, it's good if it's going back and forth a little bit. And yeah, I've been having that thought process too, about getting my hands on some more panels and then getting a few more miners too. I know it probably, because soon I want to have a shop, and then it'd be nice to power that shop with some panels and, putting some on front and back or something. I started to look at systems after looking at your battery and hearing about that and the positive aspects of having a battery, because they didn't give me a battery with my system. I went and looked at batteries, and they're, like 10 to 15K for a battery. So of course I'll keep on looking. That was just like when I quick skimmed, but after this next bull run, that's not going to be a real issue, like building a shop, getting the panels, getting some batteries and things like that, because, like a lot of you, we're all setting up for that. Well, I hope you are.
Yeah.
I know
Well,
is.
yeah, well, we can all hope for the ability to look into land acquisitions and buildings and stuff like that. But right now, I think we're on a great path, and if we get to where that is an option, I would love to do that. I got land around me that I can find. We can throw a small building up. That wouldn't be an option, or wouldn't be an issue. But that's still, who knows when that would be available.
Yeah. I like that. We're going off of what we have now. We're not trying to sell you guys a dream, and you can go into the chat, you can go back and you can look at the videos I've been posting, and like step by step by step, like I'm getting the parts, I'm doing the work, And that's what I was doing with the other camera here too. It's to help to get some shots for the YouTube channel. And I'm gonna be taking different videos and stuff from the Telegram and putting them there as well, so that people can be updated and they can follow along with the process. But yeah, okay. Well, it looks like we're gonna open up these boxes. Man, this is crazy. I've been excited. I haven't, looked at them or nothing. This is the 81 terahash a second that I got from, I believe it was Illinois, off of eBay as well. When I was, looking at the sites, and I was like, man, at least I know I got eBay protection, and that was the thing I thought when I was making that one purchase on the other website with PayPal, is that, PayPal protected me. They've always protected me. That was a really strange situation. Yeah, so see if I can get this bad boy out of here. I'm gonna lay it on the side. This thing's heavy, bro.
Yeah, they are.
So he was running, I believe what I saw in the picture, he had 3 of them, and he was using it to heat his shop in the wintertime. And
Yeah,
making money while he was heating.
I know those little L3s will heat up a room quick. I have a fan running and stuff to keep it cool in there, but they definitely, I could probably heat my house with them too in the winter. I'm going to put them in the basement directly under our bedroom, so they just blow up from underneath.
All right, so we're looking at the 81T. It's actually looking pretty good. I mean, he in the picture that he had listed on the eBay was just straight up where they were running, how they looked from running all winter. So there was dust all over them, and he said they're going to run until they're purchased. So once you purchase it, I'm going to just get out the air hose and fire up the compressor and blow all the dust off before I send it to you. So this guy was running until the day I bought it, and then he sent it over. And yeah, I mean, it's looking really good as far as, visually. Yeah, I'm really excited. I got the plugs. I got the Cat 8 Ethernet cable. It's like I have everything right now. All I need to do is just start finishing my wiring, which is the 240 or the ADOG that's running down into the dwelling. I'm hooking it up to the Bluetooth timer and then separating it from the timer because it can run a couple of different motors. It's actually used for running pools, but it's a 120 to a 277 volt, so that should be no problem because I'm only doing 240, so that's good that I'm staying underneath the maximum of it. And then splitting it there, setting that to another box, and then that junction box, I'm going to split. Wait, no, I'm not going to split. I'm going to be running straight through. It's got 8 circuits, so there's 2 connection points where it comes in and 2 go out. So I'm learning at the same time you guys are, which is another breaker that's a 20 amp 240. So I'm going from the 40 amp 240 to the timer to 2 20 amp 240s, so that each miner, I'm gonna hardwire them up to those breakers, can be supported for emergency purposes if there's any sort of short or something like that going on or whatever. Those breakers will go off. And I was online and I was looking, and some of the other veterans that hook up miners, that's exactly what they use. They just use straight up a 20 amp 240 or a 220, and they run it straight to a plug in a box, and then they just plug the miner right into that plug. So I'm feeling really good about it, really confident about it. Yeah, so there it is, the 81T. And yeah, again, like I said, I'm really impressed with how great it looks. I mean,
Yeah, that looks pretty clean.
dude,
Now, them things are loud. They're loud.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be good. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how loud it is down there. I mean, it's going to be subfloor insulation, framing, subfloor, flooring. In some rooms, there's carpet, which actually right underneath where they are, that room has carpet. So it's going to be all that material that's going to have to penetrate that as far as noise. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So the 87, okay, and this one is straight from the manufacturer. So, I don't want to jump to conclusions and believe that the thing is brand new, but I mean, I feel like it is. I can't believe how fast this thing came, because I did the wire transfer on Monday. I was already talking with them because of the first wire transfer that I set up and then canceled on Sunday, because they had me on record starting my account, and then confirming that I had sent the wire transfer, and so we were already kind of going back and forth. So we figured out that I canceled it, and they were like, okay, we can cancel that one order because we got 2 orders for you, so we cancel that one and make sure this one goes through, kind of a thing. And then I get an email like the next day or the day after saying, okay, great, we're processing it right now, everything's good to go. And then, here's another email for, if it gets stuck in customs or something like that, you need to provide to somebody. So I'm thinking, when I hear the word customs, I'm thinking this thing's a month out or something like that. And I'm going to have to wait for a phone call, and someone's going to ask me if I'm who I am and stuff like that, because I did KYC with them. And like I said, I was just walking by the door over there to go, and seen a box out there and it says Canaan on it. And I was like, holy smokes. So that's like a 5-day, shipment from them, which is just crazy. Oh yeah. It's definitely brand new. It's got a freaking dry pack in it, and it's still all wrapped up. Dude, this is absolutely insane, you guys, because oh wow, dude, it smells like new money. You just smell it. It just has that new smell to it. It was a 4-day, I don't know, it might have been even a 5-day sale when I just stumbled across their site. And it was only for North America and South America. And dude, I jumped on it because it was $200 cheaper than this one here that I got on eBay used. So with shipping and everything. And it basically looks like it's the same exact unit. It's just, they probably have some updated parts in it. And it allows it to, push some more terahash, I guess, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would say it probably has a couple more ASIC chips on the hash boards, but I don't know a lot about those models. I'll have to look into some more, but yeah, and that'll be, what is it?
No, please go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say they'll probably all function pretty similar. I know even the one miner I have that's running on the 4 hash boards, sometimes it'll show a little bit low on hashing, the other one will show a little bit higher. So they'll even out, even though there's 5 terahash difference. It'll still be within a couple on average.
So it looks like the cooling fan on the 81 is a cooler blaster product, and then the cooling fan on the 87 is a Martech. But I was looking at some research done by was it Bosscoin, and they actually sent him one, and he was like, wow, no one ever sends anybody their miner for a review. You always just get your own or whatever, and they actually sent it to him, and he was just like, the fans and everything are not just some eBay fan or whatever. It's good stuff. Like they take pride in their product. Like there's an embossed logo here on the top, and just the box itself's got kind of like a shiny kind of brushed spiral kind of on the side of it. But all that's fine and dandy. We just want it to hash, and we want it to burn and knock the supply down. So as long as those bad boys are doing what they say they're going to do, which is like Kyle said, around what they claim to do and a little above, then perfect. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Cool. Man.
Well, and with them two up and running, and the 2 I have up and running, my burn threshold is 0.1 BNB, so they're going to reach that quick. Even if you're only running, let's say 12 hours a day, I mean, we're talking probably point 0.02, 0.03 every day. So we'll have a burn every 4 days. And that's just if you can only get 10 or 12 hours. I don't know what your sun schedule is. You might be able to get longer than that. It'll come quick, and that's the thing. It's going to knock a lot of the supply off fast, and hopefully it shoots the price up so we don't end up burning, 100,000 tokens in a few months. But if we start moving forward with this, and then people see it and start jumping in, then our prices of the token go up, and we burn less. But then we get more of the funding to expand, and next thing you know, we're shooting out a 1 BNB burn per week. That would be great.
Yeah,
I'd love to raise it to that threshold and have, I'd love to see people come in and try to time the burns, and people gambling, buying and selling, and all that does is, increase our liquidity, increase our price, decrease our volume, decrease our token count, and then those things come along and knock it down some more. So, that's, in a way, that's kind of why I've held off on trying to push anything on Twitter or even some other groups here on Telegram, because we kind of want to get this up and running and show that we can do it, and do a small burn. A 0.1 burn is still small. It's less than $30. So get a few of those done and show show what we got, and then we can start getting more people in, and then we can start adding more of those miners to where we have 6 or 7 of those running. We'll have a burn a day, and then we can start looking into upping it. So this is kind of a baby step, but it's really, if it hits the way we feel like it's going to, that baby step's going to turn into a sprint rather quickly. So it was probably a good timing. These group of people that got in over the last week, where we probably had about $2,000 in volume, that's probably going to turn out to be a really, really good thing for them.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And as far as like my schedule and stuff, because I don't want to fluff anyone or any of that kind of stuff. What I'm seeing right now, and of course, summer's just kind of starting. We're late to bloom in summer, but we can have Indian summer, so we can go like well into late September. And I'm seeing on the schedule, one of them's probably going to fire on about 9 a.m., and then, like I said, it's the beginning of summer too. This is just what I've seen in the last couple of days where we've seen the sun come on like out of nowhere, because it was like we didn't even really have spring. It was like it was still cold, it was still winter, and then all of a sudden, bam! You know what I mean? Here's a nice day, and then a couple crappy days, a nice day. It's like couldn't make up its mind. No real spring. The spring was like 3 or 4 days. All of a sudden, all the trees and everything just popped. But my point is it might come on even earlier. We might be at like 8 a.m. Where one of them comes on, because it takes about an hour or so for the sun to get to that max output from the panels of 10,000 kilowatts. So the schedule that I'm seeing right now would be like one comes on at 9, at about 10 o'clock, the other one comes on, and it's rolling pretty good, because I don't need that full 10,000. I mean, these things are only sucking up 7,500, and the house is sitting on idle, or a couple things just chilling. Of course, the kids are home from school, so they're going to be like leaving lights on. I just got my hands on a whole bunch of automatic switches, so that if they leave rooms and things like that, that the lights will turn off when they leave, so they don't have to, they're not going to be sucking into our time. And then it's going to run from, that time till, 4 or 5 in the afternoons, when, it starts to kind of want to dive down a little bit. But again, like I said, it's early on right now in summer. So when we hit, mid-July, all of August, most of September is, we might see later than that, even later than 5 p.m. to where, one of them comes off as the solar starts to taper down, and then one runs until 6, 7, 8 o'clock. So it all just depends on what the panels are catching and what I'm seeing on the app, because like I said, I've got an app that shows me exactly how much the panels are getting, what they're sending to the grid, so what's coming through the system that we can catch and provide to the mine pool. So yeah, it's going to be, like Kyle was saying, it's about getting it going, doing it, and showing you guys the data, because of course all of us want to see what the data is. That's how we position ourselves, is with the data. And if we don't have any data, then we don't have anything. All we have now is people that know us, that have been around and either been working on the project itself or working on other projects, or know of who we are and how we carry ourselves, and know what we're trying to do. So when we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. Especially if you see us doing it, you're like, oh, okay, this guy's really doing it, So boom, like Maddie did, he bought like $600 worth or something because he was like, oh, they're doing it. You know what I mean? He's, the miners are already up. We got, mega hash is already going, and we got terahash on the way. Like, wow, this guy's crawling under his house. He's running wires. He's putting holes in his walls. Like, so yeah, putting breakers and panels and things like that. And yeah, I wouldn't waste your guys' time. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like that was like $400 an 8-aught wire, $100 in the distribution box, another like $60 in breakers, $60 on the Wi-Fi box, which I really, and I didn't really need, but I want it. That way, if I'm away from the house, because see, I can go off the weather report, but that's not going to get us optimal. You know what I mean? Like with that Wi-Fi and the Sense app that I already have, it doesn't matter where I'm at, what I'm doing. I can look at the app. I can see, oh wow, the clouds opened up. And there's 8,000 kilowatts right now running through the system. Boom, I can flip on the the second miner. And I'm like you guys. Like I'm really excited, and exactly what Kyle was saying. If I'm going to be a couple, 100, maybe even if I'm like 1,000 kilowatts over or whatever, like I'll probably run it just because I'm excited about it. I want to see the burns, and then I can look at what my bill is and see like, oh, okay, I was over a few days, I can take a log and see, I just basically on my system is whatever is it's extra, it rolls my time, my meter back. It rolls the meter back, and then they're supposed to like credit me. So, yeah, I want to collect all that power. I want to make sure that that's all going to the miners.
Yeah, and that's the good thing. We're still kind of early with it, so we'll have some trial and error. But even during our trial and error, with as low as our token price is right now, we're still going to see some significant impacts to it. So it's definitely moving forward. And to think, what, 3 weeks ago, we were mining with a 1 GPU rig, and now we're getting ready to have 4 ASIC miners up and running. That was a pretty big jump. So I'm excited for it too. I know probably of some of the more recent people that's joined, we've been interested in a renewable energy sourced mining operation for probably about 2 years. And I know we had worked together with a couple other people trying to work on some stuff, and nothing ever came to fruition. And then this opportunity came up, and it was perfect. We already had everything in place. All we had to do was execute it. And, it's nice to be able to just focus all your resources on, okay, we don't have to worry about creating a contract. We don't have to worry about how do we get this funds from here or those funds there. Everything's ready to go. All we have to do is start mining. We already even have the work was done before we were here to get everything set up. We just had to plug it in and keep it going. We took this over a couple months ago from Kevin, and he's been great behind the scenes and helping get everything switched over. And I even talked to him today, and he's wishing us luck and can't wait to get back into it himself. As I think he's still holding tokens. I don't know if he's invested any more time with his mining equipment or when that's going to get up, but he had a pretty significant system that will really help out a lot whenever he's ready to join back. So I'm looking forward to that too. I know a lot of times when you have transitions, there's usually some bitterness or some hard feelings, but we're all in good standing, and really wishing each other the best. And we're looking forward to Kevin being back in with us as soon as he's ready for that. So, we're at this point because of, people that aren't on this screen right now. And we're just trying to take it, what they started and the foundation they laid, and kind of keep it going and be ready for them whenever they want to join us back again.
Yeah, and talking about tokens, I went and I looked at the holder list, and yeah, I was really surprised. I was like, wow, dude, Maddie, you really pumped up your bag there, bro, and so as far as, how many tokens that, the previous owner has compared to the rest of us holders, I didn't see any, large sums of tokens. Maddie, just from this last week, making, his $600 purchase, he got his hands on a nice little chunk of the supply. So, they're spread over, to looks like a lot of people that were in the pre-sale originally, and like we're really close to that pre-sale price still, like even after this last week and the purchases. So I mean, from what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing there, no amount of tokens somewhere that anybody can just kind of dump on the rest of us. It's just all of us in this together, and all those people that have been holding since like for almost a year on the project, waiting for Kevin to get his operation going. They're holding, and I haven't seen anybody in the chat. I've been coming into the chat before we took it over, just looking on things or whatever, or trying to see what's up with Kevin, saying, hey man, what's going on, any updates, yada yada yada. And like I haven't seen anybody come in and like win, like, maybe Maddie just, seeing what the price is, and I don't know, maybe he was DCA and I don't know, maybe he knew something I didn't know, but we're looking good.
Well, if he did that's a textbook dollar cost averaging right there. That is textbook. But and that comes back to having such a high amount of liquidity versus the market cap. I mean, we can sustain some drops, and drops are healthy. I mean, you have to have sells and you have to have buys and sells and fluctuations both ways, because if you just continue going up, people aren't going to want to buy. So you're going to have sells, and sells still go towards the burn and everything else, just like a buy does. So, I mean, everyone's got their own money involved in it and knows their own situation, and we've got to respect that. And one thing too,
like 11.4 kilograms or something.
It's about what, 25 pounds. Yeah. So whenever you get those up and running, one thing you might want to hook them up before we do, if we're going to do this over a voice chat, because you'll need to know what your local area IP address is. You just log into your router, like maybe hook them up and let them run for about 5 minutes and establish it with the router. And then just write those down, because that's how we'll log into them. And I'm sure your new one came with the instructions, but most of these miners have a administrator password that's root RR or ROOT, and that's for the username and password. That's what both of mine were, and everything I can find online on those Avalon miners, it's the same. So if you want to change those to something else, of course that's fine, but we may want to check that beforehand, especially that used one, to make sure there wasn't one put in. It's not a big deal if you leave them alone. I didn't change mine unless someone physically knows how to get into your network, and then knows that what's behind those IP addresses as a miner. It's going to take a lot of work to figure out where it's at, but and that way I could probably do a screen recording from my old miner and just boot it up on Linux, and we can kind of walk it through, and I can show you the addresses, and it's pretty straightforward. I think you guys will be shocked at how pretty straightforward it is just to log into these things and throw in the URL, which will be the area that you mine to, and then the wallet address, which is the one we get from Unmineable, and then it's running. That's it. And if you leave them on your basic settings, they run fine. There's no problem. When you get into overclocking, sometimes you can get into issues, but I don't feel like that's really necessary with these. Just hook them up and let them eat, and it's going to work out good for all of us.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to get there. Yeah. So I'm gonna get going because I might take some of this time to do some wiring.
Yeah, definitely. And when you get those, like I said, if you can get those IP addresses, we can get all that stuff set up and ready to go, so we can show a video to everybody on how to get them up and running, and how easily it is, and then we can have all that ready as far as if it's so yours is our Bitcoin. So you would have an SHA 256 algorithm, and it's pretty unmineable. It's pretty straightforward. So for those, it's just SHA256.unmineable.org, I think, is the target address. And then mine are script miners for Litecoin and Doge. So that's just script.unmineable.org. And it's pretty straightforward. If you use a different algorithm, usually it's whatever the algorithm is. So we can compile all of that real easy. And then it's just having our wallet address to make sure it goes to the right place.
That's exciting too, because with the ordinals that are being scripted on to Satoshis right now, the rewards for mining Bitcoin has doubled in the last couple of months. So that's nice.
Yeah, Bitcoin, we still have probably another year before it's halving. Litecoin is going to go through a halving in August, so we're really going to have to see what happens. We're not holding Litecoin, so sitting on it for a year for it to go crazy, that's not going to work for us. So if profitability drops with Litecoin halving, we may have to, I may have to switch over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin-based miner, but we'll see. Most of the time people get excited for halvings because your reward halves, so then half is less is getting into it. I think Bitcoin's like 6.125 Bitcoin per block. I don't necessarily know what the Litecoin one is off the top of my head. So typically these big bull runs, are a year after the halving. So we had one in 2020. March, April of 2020 for Bitcoin, and then 2021 is when everything started going. So if we were holding these tokens, this would be a great time, but we're converting them instantly to BNB. Another thing too, with BNB going down, we're actually getting more BNB per Litecoin that we're mining. So that gets us in where we burn based off of a number of BNB, not a dollar amount. We're actually hitting those burns faster. So, we don't want to see BNB go down, but we're tied to the CZ USD. So BNB going down is probably not going to have much of an effect on us other than just the dollar amount of the swap. So it'll probably make us burn quicker, but the dollar amount is still going to be the same. If BNB is $200 and we're cashing out, 1.5 times faster, we're still burning the same dollar amount. It's just happening more regular.
Yeah, that's exciting because that's what I want to get into is once they're hooked up, once we're looking at the data, then we can look at more data, see what's available out there because there are so many other blockchains that have mining available that, would allow us to mine and I would like to think about that as well, too, is we can ask the community how they feel if we do mine certain cryptocurrencies and decide to hold some for some time. So that when the value goes up, we have more, that we're going to be able to bring in as far as value to, burn down the supply, too. So either way, I'm just really excited for all that to have those discussions when the time comes to have those discussions and see what's available out there. Because like when you have, your miners on Litecoin and Doge, that's exciting to me because when I was online just for a brief second and I was looking at what was profitable to mine, that Litecoin Doge pair together that you get, it seems to be a really good value as far as mining goes. One of the highest amounts. What's up, buddy?
Won a lot of tips.
Nice.
Heroes.
What?
Yes.
I'm gonna get down on that discussion.
I won 1 million.
Lucky.
Yeah. I saw some.
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna go get to some wiring and maybe playing some games with my son here. Looks like.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Well, I'm about to get my girl to sleep. It's getting late. It's almost 9 o'clock here on the East Coast. So, good talk. I I like seeing that stuff under your arm right there. That's, that's metal money there. So whenever you get those up, like I said, just send me a message. We'll make sure we have all of our addresses and everything lined up. And maybe, I probably won't be available for another voice chat till the next weekend, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday should be available any day. And then we can maybe do one where we actually do a walkthrough on setting these up and getting them going. And then we can see how much juice they put out running for a day or two. And then we can kind of get our schedule worked out.
Yeah, and that's not going to be a problem because I'm going to be recording everything for the YouTube channel and for the Telegram as well. So whenever we get together to have any talks or set up or any of that, I'll make sure it's going to be video recorded.
Okay.
All right. Well, it looks like Jason B is the soldier. He hung out. He hung in there.
I feel like he's been on every single video chat we've had in the last year. He's one of the ones that's followed us over, and he was a pre-sale guy here too, I believe. So yeah, that's definitely someone that's hung around too. So there's a lot of people that have been here for the long haul. So I'm looking forward to making it worth their while too.
All right. Well, everybody, have a good day. I like to say, bless the community. And Habibi, that's all from me, and that's it from the owner of GreenMiner. See you guys later.
All right. Thank you all for coming.